I forgive you, but I no longer love you. Those were the last words I sent him. We cried together, both knowing our decade-long story had come to an end. This time, I chose me. 3 years later, I can finally say I've moved on. And today, I want to share the inner work that helped me heal after an 11-year relationship. The first step I took was to practice deep self-awareness. As Daniel Goldman beautifully explains, self-awareness is about understanding what we're feeling and why, recognizing how our emotions shape us and the people around us, knowing our strengths and limitations, and holding a steady sense of self-worth. Self-awareness became my turning point. It allowed me to pause, listen to my heart honestly, and finally show up for myself in ways I never had before. Before diving into the hard questions, I made a promise to myself: no self-blame, no harsh words, just love, gentleness, and honest understanding. Because real healing doesn't start with judgment, it begins with kindness. Then I started asking myself some honest questions, not to shame myself, but to truly understand. Answering these questions felt like peeling back layers I didn't even know I had. It was such a beautiful process. It felt like I was getting to know another woman, except she was the woman within me. The next step was reconnecting with my inner child. One of the biggest turning points in my healing was meeting the little girl inside me again. As John Bradshaw beautifully explains, our inner child carries not only our childhood joys, but also the ones we never got to fully process. And when we reconnect with her, we give ourselves a chance to heal what was once left unacknowledged. There came a moment when I realized the pain I was carrying wasn't just mine as an adult. It belonged to that little girl inside me who just wanted to be seen, heard, and held. Reconnecting with her wasn't about living in the past. It was about gently acknowledging those younger parts, assuring her that she's safe now and that she's no longer alone. Through this, I began to understand why I stayed in unhealthy dynamics and slowly learned to give myself the love I kept looking for in others. The very first thing I did was look at my baby picture. I was about 2 years old. She wasn't smiling, but her eyes, they were wide, innocent, and quietly curious. It was as if she was searching for me through time, asking, "Do you still see me?" In that moment, something inside me stirred. It felt tender, almost sacred, like I was meeting a part of myself I had forgotten, but who had been waiting all along. In that moment, I softened. I started asking myself gentle questions, almost like I was speaking to my own daughter. What was I like as a child? What brought me joy? What moments from childhood still stand out, joyful or painful? When did I first feel unseen, unheard, or misunderstood? What parts of myself did I hide or shrink to feel safe? What words did I long to hear but never did? And what can I do today that would make my younger self proud? And in asking those questions, I felt like I was gently holding her hand, letting her know she's finally seen and safe. As I went deeper into my inner child work, I discovered that many of my patterns had names. In Dr. Nicole LePera's book, How to Do the Work, she shares 7 inner child archetypes that reveal how we learn to cope growing up. For me, I saw a mix of the caretaker, the overachiever, the people pleaser, and the rescuer. I was the one who took care of others, tried to be perfect, avoid conflict to keep the peace, and felt responsible for fixing everything. Naming these patterns didn't make me feel broken. It actually made me feel seen. It gave me language for things I used to just feel but couldn't explain. And that's where healing truly began. Reconnecting with my inner child was one of the softest, most powerful parts of my healing. It wasn't loud or dramatic, it was quiet, tender, and deeply personal. And in that stillness, I realized I didn't need saving anymore because I had finally come home to myself. Then came healing my father wound. For the longest time, I didn't realize how much my relationship with my dad shaped the kind of love I accepted. Psychologist John Bowlby's attachment theory explains how early relationships with our caregivers form emotional blueprints for how we connect with others later on. When a father figure is emotionally absent, overly critical, or inconsistent, it can leave gaps in how we perceive love, safety, and self worth. Growing up, my dad wasn't the expressive type. He rarely gave praise or affection, and I remember constantly craving his validation. And because I never truly understood that wound, I unconsciously gravitated toward men who mirrored the same emotional distance. A part of me was unknowingly trying to fix the original wound, thinking that if I could make them love me, then maybe I'd finally feel enough. This realization was a turning point. I knew that to rewrite my love story, I had to look inward first. Before you reflect, remind yourself to come from a place of compassion, no self blame, no parent blame, just honesty and love. How did my dad express love and approval when I was young? Were there moments when I felt unseen, unheard, or emotionally unsupported by him? What did I long to hear or receive from him that I didn't get? How have these unmet needs shown up in the kind of partners I'm drawn to? Do I find myself overgiving, fixing, or chasing love in relationships? Do I equate emotional distance with love because it feels familiar? My healing began with acknowledgement, gently naming the wound without resentment. I wrote letters I never intended to send, pouring out everything my younger self wished she could have said. I also practiced reparenting myself, giving myself the love, praise, and presence I had waited for. I'm not fully there yet, but doing this work has changed how I see myself and the kind of man I attract. I've learned to notice emotional unavailability not as a challenge to fix, but as a sign of misalignment. Lastly, I began healing my mother wound. Unlike the father wound, the mother wound can often be more subtle. It's not always about what was missing. Sometimes it's about the patterns we unconsciously inherit. Psychotherapist Dr. Bethany Webster, who popularized the concept of the mother wound, explains that this wound refers to the internalized pain, beliefs, and patterns passed down through the maternal line, often reflecting the limitations society placed on women of previous generations. My mom has always been strong and nurturing. Like many women of her generation, she carried her pain silently. prioritizing everyone else before herself. And without even realizing it, I learned to do the same. I became the caretaker, the peacemaker, the one who always had it together. But deep down, I was exhausted. I longed for the same kind of care I poured into others, but I didn't know how to ask for it. Healing this wound meant untangling where her patterns ended and mine began, and finally giving myself permission to show up differently. If this resonates with you, here are some gentle self reflection questions to explore your own mother wound. Take your time with these and approach them with kindness, not blame. How did my mother express love or care or emotional support? What unspoken expectations did I absorb from her about being strong, selfless, or put together? Did I feel like I had to take care of her emotionally or be the good child? What emotions did I learn to suppress because I didn't see them modeled at home? How have her unspoken beliefs about worth, love, or womanhood shaped my own? In what ways do I still mirror her unhealed patterns in my adult life? Lastly, what parts of me long for permission to not have to be the strong one? These questions can help you separate love for your mother from the patterns you inherited. Both can exist at the same time. From there, I started rewriting my own patterns, allowing myself to receive love instead of just giving it, asking for help without guilt, and reminding myself that I don't have to be the strong one all the time. And slowly, I began showing up not as the version of me shaped by old patterns, but as the woman I'm becoming. I'm still in the process. It's not linear, and some days are tender. But doing this work has helped me honor her journey without losing myself in it. Looking back at these four inner works, I realized that healing isn't about blaming anyone or rewriting the past. It's about finally seeing myself clearly. Through honest reflection, understanding my patterns, and acknowledging the wounds I carried, I began to take responsibility for my own healing and stop searching for validation outside of me. This journey isn't linear, but with each small step, I feel closer to myself. If you're on a similar path, know that your healing doesn't have to be perfect to be powerful. Start where you are, ask the hard questions, and give yourself grace along the way. If something in this video resonated with you, you might want to check out the other videos in this playlist. They're all part of this journey, piece by piece. Take what resonates and carry it gently into your own healing. With love, Sulayra.